my podcast where we're healing from family ties, trauma, and taking accountability for all areas of our lives that may have held us back. I'm super excited because I am closing in season 1, and I just wanted to do a recap. Like, this episode is for a recap. Like, Monday was a recap and my thoughts on mental health and how it's helping me, and I hope that it's helping you. Again, if this is your first time, I appreciate you. Please watch episodes 1 through 10, episodes 1 through 9, and then 10 is a recap. This will be number 11, and then Friday will be number 12. But like I said, today is Worth It Wednesdays. If this is not your first time and you continue on this journey, I appreciate you. I am thankful for you. I hope that I'm a light. I hope that you see my pure heart and that you know that this is God speaking through me, and I'm just a vessel and I'm just a servant. That's it. I've been through some things. We've been through similar things, and we're just, trying to take the accountability and the steps to the healing process. I'm super excited because, like I said, I'm closing season 1. And I just wanted to basically talk about how I got Worth It Wednesday in my head, and how Worth It Wednesdays was helping me. And, if you would like to just talk to me, hit me up on Facebook. We're healing from that. Instagram, we're healing from that. Twitter, we're healing from that. My DM's open, my email's open. Everything is open to you. We can have a conversation. If you would like to come on here and we can have a conversation, just a conversation about healing, or a specific topic, we can talk about that. Season 2 is going to be crazy. Like, you think season 1 was, snatching things up. Season 2, I got you. But anyway, I wanted to speak about how I got Worth It Wednesdays and how I got Finally Free Friday. I'm going to tell you about that on Friday, and I told you about mental health Monday on Monday, but today is Wednesday. So let's get into it. When I was thinking about the podcast and how I was going to, post, how I was going to get, my message out and everything, I was like, how can I do the days? How can I get my days out? You know what I mean? And I was like, well, okay. And I was just sitting in the car one day, and Mondays came in my head, and I was like, okay, what goes on Monday? Mental Health Monday. All right. Okay. Here we are. And then I was going to do Monday through Friday. Don't ask me how I was going to do that. So I just broke it down to Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, which is so much better for me and way better for you. But anyway, and then Wednesday, I was like, healing Wednesday. I'm worth it. Worth It Wednesday. You know what I mean? So it was just in my head, like, I just need to tell them why it's worth it. I need to tell them what is on my mind. I need to tell them why they're worth the change. I need to tell them why is it worth you being in your mind and saying that I need to grow. And I need them to know that when you are in the healing phase, or when you thinking about changing, it has to be worth something. It has to be in your heart that it's like, I'm worth this step. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't think you're worthy of a change, then it's not going to be a change. If you don't think it's worthy of the healing is worth a place in your mind, worth a place in your heart, nothing is going to change out of that. Like, you got to know that every day is a battle, yes, and every day is worth, when we wake up, taking another further step to healing, taking another further step to accountability, taking another step to, being more than what you was yesterday, or being more what you was last year. And I always talk about cycles. I used to be in the same place from last year, the year before that, and the year before that. And don't you know how we have the Facebook memories, and of status that I used to put up there, or status that I used to just say, I used to be in those same cycles, feeling the same way, feeling down, feeling sad, feeling stuck. I don't know where I want to go. I don't know what I want to do. And during this podcast, I'm like, okay, you have to be persistent. You have to be consistent. You have to know that this journey, someone is going to hear you. Someone needs to know their worth as well. Someone needs to see you. Someone needs to see the authentic you. Someone needs to see the real you. You know what I mean? Someone needs to see that everything that you're laying out on this table and everything that they need to lay out on this table is worth it. We're going to have tables all around, and the cloth is going to be there, the utensils going to be there, the plate is going to be there. And even if our traumas, our backstories, whatever you got going on in the side of you is piling over the plate, you have to know that you have enough utensils inside of you that you can eat those and you can digest it and you can finally be free from it. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Your plate is going to be overfilled when you're laying things out. Like, my plate was filled with regret, filled with isolation, filled with envy. I always talk about envy. Filled with bitterness. So we talked about bitterness in the first season. Filled with just all this gunk that was just overflowing my plate. But once I use the utensil that's worth inside of me, basically my worth, I start taking those things and taking accountability, eating those things and turning them to a healthy state, and just being more consistent and knowing that I need to change. I need to be the change because no one else can be the change for me. You know, I can have people talking to me. I can have people mentoring me. I can have people coaching me. I can have people doing so much stuff inside of me. But if I don't have the discipline inside of me, if I don't have the will inside of me, if I don't know my worth and I don't know that I need a change, nothing's gonna come out of that. You understand what I'm saying? Nothing is gonna come out of Worth It. Why is it Worth It Wednesday? Nothing's gonna come out of anything that comes out of this podcast wasn't gonna be worth it because it wasn't authentic if I didn't check myself or check my worth. You understand what I'm saying? Like, my plate, the table wasn't even in the room. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I was always in the room by myself. So I had to drag the table in there, dress it up nice. Don't you know how we have these parties and we dress it up our tables so nicely in perfection, and you know, I have my perfect chairs and it's so bedazzled and things like that. And once I started putting those utensils on there, and I wasn't even eating it, you understand what I'm saying? I wasn't even using my utensils at this point, but all my crap was overflowing on my plate. So I'm looking at my plate literally. You understand? I'm sorry if I'm talking fast, so I apologize. If I'm not, I'm looking at my plate, like I said, and all this stuff is piling on this plate now. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm not eating it. I'm not taking accountability for it. I'm not trying to digest this feeling or be in these feelings. Like, you have to feel it. Sometimes you have to sit in these feelings, but don't sit in there too long. You understand what I'm saying? You have to realize that your change is dependent on you. Your change is dependent on your dependent on what you know is in your head and what has to get out. You understand what I'm saying? And when I was working towards the podcast, I was like, am I really worth this? Am I really worth people listening to me? Am I really worth? Yes, you are. Talking to me and talking to you. Yes, you are that first step to knowing that I need to break these cycles inside of me. I need to break this generational curse inside of me. I need to break this, whatever chain is inside of you, that is holding you and locking you in, you need to break it. Whatever is inside of you that's holding you back from your potential or holding you back from being free, you need to break it. Whatever is holding you back from being in this perfect state of mind and not being in this progression state of mind, you need to break it. Whatever's inside of you that's holding you back and causing you bitterness, causing you envy, causing you isolation, because as we know, as I always said, once you're in those things, nothing great is going to come out of that. Are you hearing me? Nothing great is going to come out of that. You're not going to learn anything. You're going to still be in those cycles. You're still going to talk to that certain person. You're still going to be in these dysfunctional relationships. You're not going to be able to grow. People aren't going to be able to speak through you. People aren't going to be able to speak at, people aren't going to be able to speak or see the potential in you because you're so closed. That's talking to me. You understand what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to set the goals that you're going to need. And like I said, Worth It Wednesdays was saying, you know what? I'm worth this. I'm worth better. I'm greater than what I am. And then, before I started the podcast, I got baptized, right? And in my baptism, I have a little bit of tears right coming in my eyes, but in my baptism, in the water, I was like, I'm going to leave things there. I'm going to leave everything that I've done to myself in the water, right? This was March 13th. And I am worthy of God's covering, right? I messed up. You hear me? Like, I messed up. I kept going back into cycles. I kept doing the dumbest stuff to me. I wasn't being in accountability. I was planning the podcast. I was doing all of these things. I was reaching out to get a life coach. I was reaching out to get a mentor. I had a mentor before I got baptized, but, I was reaching out to start businesses. I was reaching out, but in my mind, I wasn't worth that. In my mind, I wasn't worth the yes. You hear me? Today makes 7 months with my baptism, and I pulled back from the baptism because, I was thinking like, I'm not worth this. God is not going to forgive me for this. I even messed up after my baptism. I even messed up after all of those things. You understand what I'm saying? But I had to really sit and think about, you know what, Brie, you're worth it. You're worth the wait. You know what I'm talking about? You're worth the wait. You're worth your yes. You're worth his forgiveness. You are worth saying out your mouth. You're asking for repentance. You're worth starting over in your purity. You're worth starting over and, creating this content for the podcast and being a light to somebody. You're worth it. You hear me? Today makes 7 months. Today makes seven times that I'm thinking about, am I worth it? Talking to you, what I'm talking to you about, I'm working through it. What I'm talking to you about, I'm healing as well. What I'm talking to you about and saying, we're healing from that. We're healing from that. I am doing this work with you. Do we mess up? Yes. Do we start over? Yes. And then to start over, for me, when I start over, and then it's time of starting over, the lessons I'm good on. I just want to learn new lessons. When I'm learning my new lessons, I want to use the tools and utensils that I already used to digest all of that stuff that was on my plate. I cleaned the plate. Now I'm learning lessons for me to grow better in this journey. I'm learning the lessons to grow better and telling myself that I'm continuously working towards the worth. I'm continuously learning that it's okay to take a step back. It's okay to let certain people go. It's okay to be more authentic with yourself. It's okay to just have your eyes on your road and only on your road and only on your lane. Have eyes only on God, because he is the only one that matters in your journey. Having eyes to be a light to someone. You hear me? Having a sensitive and pure heart. That's what's important to me. And that's how Worth It Wednesday came about. Worth It Wednesdays was just like, I need to tell this man, I need to tell this woman, I need to tell this girl, I need to tell this boy that they are worth the change. They are worth being better. You know what I mean? And like I said, always, I just hope that I am a light. I hope that me speaking about my baptism, and me getting into detail about my baptism is very, you know, difficult. I talk about difficult things on here, but you know, starting over in the journey, like I said, 7 months today, but starting over in the journey with my baptism, it just had to be a different route. Like, you gotta be stupid crazy when you're trying to start over and when you're healing. Stupid crazy. You hear me? And you have to implement steps and moves that's working for you and not working for someone else. And you have to know that no one can interrupt your moves. No one can interrupt your healing. You need to communicate what you can do and what you can't do. You need to be taking accountability for the actions that you do to yourself, for the choices that you make, whether if you're in that relationship that's not beneficial for you right now. You know that it's not beneficial. You have a choice. That's speaking to me. Whether or not you at this place where you don't know how to get out, you have choices to change, and you need to make that choice. You need to know that I'm doing this pain to myself. No one else is doing this to me. I have the ability to grow. I have the ability to see more for myself. You understand what I'm saying? And that and getting baptized and creating Why Is It Worth It Wednesdays, it was a change that was needed. Was I being that change in the beginning? No. Am I being that change now? Of course. Because I'm tired of learning the same cycle. So I'm tired of being in the destructive cycle. You understand what I'm saying? And with recapping and thinking about season 1, I was very straightforward with you guys. I was very open with you guys. And closing it and being more in it, I was happy. I was content. You know what I mean? I was happy and I was content with knowing that, you know, someone knows that they're worth it. Someone knows that they need to think about the question, am I worth it? And the answer is yes. You need to think about where I'm going to begin, even if it's at, you know, step 1 and it's just like, okay, I'm just going to begin and get up early. I'm just going to begin and just say, you know, get up and say, I love myself. Or, you know, daily affirmations to yourself. Or I'm just going to do a self-care day. But like I said, season 2 is going to be super, super good. Like, season 2, I want to start off and say that, you know, I'm going to implement self-care Sundays, where we're going to talk about self-care and, you know, probably take you on my journeys of self-care. And then people are going to be on here. I'm going to be doing interviews. Like I said before, if you want to join in on this thing, please do. Join the conversation. Join We're Healing From That. Like I said, I hope I'm a light. I hope you have a great evening, night, afternoon, whatever time, morning, whatever time you're tuning in on me. I hope that I'm a light. I hope that you're taking that accountability. And I know that at the end of this video, you are worth it. On this Wednesday, I will see you Friday when you're finally free. Mwah.